evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome aboard. Once you have located your seat, we ask that you please step out of the aisle.
So you want to know what to do with your wheelchair when you're flying commercially? Let me tell you. I have a video that already kind of shows this, but this is a more controlled environment. So I'll make a video about how to do everything else, but today we're talking about taking the chair apart. Once you get ready to go into the airplane, here's what's going to happen. You go down the, whatever they call it, it's some kind of hallway that gets you to the gate. The gate is this little part right before you walk into the airplane, or however you get on. So what they're going to do is they're going to have an aisle chair. And the aisle chair is just a very small dolly, basically, with a little seat for you to sit on that can fit between these very narrow aisles. And so what you're going to do is you're going to get off the chair, transfer to sit on one of those. We can pretend this is one of those. And then your wheelchair is going to be gate checked. This means that it goes into the bottom part of the airplane where they have all the luggage, but they bring it back out to the gate where you also are now, where you're taking it apart. And this is good because otherwise you would get off the airplane and you wouldn't have a wheelchair to get onto. So you need it to be gate checked. Okay, so we're at the gate. I'm in the aisle chair, and I'm going to give this to them to gate check, but there's a few things that I want to take off the chair before I give it to them. And you don't have to do this. Honestly, you can just give them the chair as is, but that means there's more things that could break. So we're taking it apart mainly just to protect ourselves. Step one is take off the cushion. The cushion, I'll sit on this when I'm in the airplane. One, it makes me look taller because my head sticks out above the seats. Two, it's way more comfortable. And that's it, just those two. If you have an air cushion, like a cushion that's filled with air, you'll want to release a little bit of the air while you're in the flight. You don't have to do too much because the cabin is pressurized, so it's not going to explode. But it might if you don't release even a little bit. So take off the chair, and usually there's someone there to help you, or if you're flying with someone, they can take this and go bring it to your seat. And if you have a bag with a little bit of extra room, I recommend having that, because then you can put some of these pieces in the bag instead of having it loosely over in the overhead. Next thing is these side panels here. I take these off, and these are nice and thin, so take these off and you can kind of stack them like this and stick them in a backpack. I recommend doing that because they're fragile usually, so they can get broken very easily. So now the chair is looking already a little bit better in terms of less stuff here to get broken. And next thing is, well, let's just put this here for now, the backrest. Now the backrest is different for a lot of people. The way this backrest works is that you kind of just flick these things forward, or here you got this pin to take out first, flick it forward, this one, flick it forward, and then it'll come out. And so it can be kind of stuck, so I just kind of yank on it. Now this is the backrest. I take this with me. I don't use it when I'm on the seat. You could, if you wanted some extra back cushioning, you could use it. This is a little bit too much for me, and so I just stick it in the overhead or in a duffel bag if I have any of that extra room. And now this is pretty good. However, it can be a little bit better. And typically a wheelchair, at the very back of it, will have this thing that you pull on, and when you pull it, there it is, it'll go down. It also has like a middle part, so you got to pull it more, and there we go, now it's down. And from here, I don't take the wheels off, I leave the wheels on. One of the reasons is I don't know where I would put them. Second reason is that they're most likely not going to get damaged, and I've never had them blow up either. Like the tires have never popped or anything, so it's pretty safe there. And also just for the person moving and dealing with the chair, it kind of makes it a bit easier to handle. And I guess it protects the body of the chair in a way, because we have all these brackets, or whatever you want to call them, the body of the wheelchair, and these wheels kind of protect it from getting banged up by anything else. From here, I usually like to take, well, the seatbelt's stuck in the wheel a little bit here, but usually what I'll do is I'll take the seatbelt and I'll clip it together, and that's it actually. This is all that I do. One thing that I'm sure to do though is leave the brakes unlocked, because I've noticed that sometimes I do lock the brakes and it always gets back to me unlocked. And I was wondering, why is this? One day, I was in the airplane, I had a window seat, and I was looking out the left side of the airplane, and I see the person who was taking my wheelchair to the part wherever it goes of the plane, and he was just rolling it along. So it's easier for the person who's taking the chair to just roll it wherever they're taking it. So I leave the brakes off, that way they don't have to play around and potentially break anything. And that's it. And then when you get the wheelchair back, pull this, and honestly I need to lubricate this because it's a bit stuck. Bear with me here. Okay, I got it. And so I'll pull that part down and lock this in. So it's locked in, and if this is not a lesson for you, it should be to get some WD-40 and these little pins here, put some WD-40 on it. And from here, I take the seatbelt, stick it off, kind of like outside of the wheels here, like this. So from this point, and it might help to lock the wheelchair now, we're assuming that I'm getting off of the airplane, and what they'll do is they'll bring it out to you how you gave it to them, and then you got to reconstruct it. So grab the wheelchair. From here I can kind of toss this on. That's looking pretty good. Make sure I got seatbelt. The seatbelt's probably one of the things that gets in the way the most, like even just day to day. So you'll get the hang of it. I'm still getting the hang of it. From here, actually, from here it's easier to put the seatbelts on the inside. Take off the brake, spin it around, and now we can do the backrest. Doing the backrest here. And again, this is just the backrest that I have, so whichever backrest you have, you're gonna wanna learn how to take it on and off. Slap it on, lock it in, there you go. And the last piece here, the side panels. So, side panels, they have this little part where they slide in, and it could be different for you. I don't know how many different ways there are to have a side panel, but usually they're pretty easy to just get in. Yeah, and that's it. And now the chair is reconstructed and ready to go. One thing that is worth noting though is that when you get on the airplane, and like I said before, how I said that you want to release some of the air out of the air cushion, when you get off the airplane, unless you're landing somewhere that is at a higher altitude than where you departed from, you're going to want to fill this back up with air. You can do that while you're still on the plane, so when the plane lands, you have to wait for every single person to get off of the airplane, unless you're in a big rush and they get you off first, but that rarely happens. So while you're waiting for literally every single person to get off the airplane, you can read a book, watch a movie, do some online shopping, refill this with some air, read another book, watch a few more movies. It takes a while. And that way when you get back onto the chair, it won't be this deflated cushion. But yeah, so that's it. Hey, thanks for watching. If you've made it this far, then you're probably already subscribed. But if not, then now's a perfect time. Be sure to leave a comment on any future videos that you would like to see, and leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Share it with 1 billion people, maybe 5. Whatever you'd like. See you in the next one.